Hello and welcome to Wednesday midweek service. My name is Molara and I'm going to be your host for today. So this evening, we're going to be talking about relationship. Last week on Sunday, our pastor started a series on relationship and it focused on marriage. And this evening, we're going to be talking about the singles. So if you are single, it doesn't matter what age it is, fasten your seatbelt. You are in for a jolly good ride. I'm not alone this evening. I've got a wonderful guest. She's beautiful. In fact, Pastor said everything already. She's eligible. She's fascinating. Her story is very inspiring. And I actually think it's very inspiring that she has taken this course to help people ply through the same road that she plied. Well, not to talk too much, let's meet our guest. Her name is Lape Soetan. It's good to have you.
Hi, Omalara. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome. Please, can you give a brief introduction about yourself?
Okay. So, like you said, my name is Lape Soetan. I'm a relationship coach. I help single men and women over the age of 30 attract and keep the right relationship.
Great. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, I read your story. In fact, I went on Instagram and you're talking about three things to know before you get into a relationship. And then you mentioned that you're married at age 34. And I'm like, wow, in Africa, really? That's like a very old age. I mean, from 18, your mom is like, no boyfriend. 20, no boyfriend. And when you're getting 25, they're like, where's your husband now? And then you're 30 and 31, 32. How was it? How was the journey for you?
As many people would expect, being a single woman over a particular age in Nigeria is difficult. And it was difficult for me. But the thing is, despite the pain that you feel, you have to find a way to find happiness. You have to find a way to find joy. Because if you don't, then life is going to be even more dull. There's going to be little to make you smile. The added bonus is that if you are happy, you are more likely to attract someone who's going to make you even happier. There are many people that don't know that. One of the things that happened to me when I was single was that a woman she actually liked me. So, sometimes people like you and want to give you advice, but they don't know that what they are saying is hurtful, or they don't know that what they are saying isn't actually useful. So she was talking to me when I was single, and she was like, "You're always so happy. Wow. I don't know. If you want to get married, I feel like you should tone it down a bit and, just be a little sad."
Wow.
She didn't actually use that word, but that was what she meant. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't understand. What do you mean? She says, because she feels that it's if you are sad, that you're going to find somebody who's going to want to make you happy. Wow. And I totally disagree, but I understand where she's coming from. Because even though she doesn't seem like the kind of person who knew about Disney, women in our society are brought up to think that somebody's going to come and save you and turn your life from black and white to color. And it's not necessarily that way. Most of the time, it doesn't happen. You are the one that's going to turn your life into color. Somebody might come and then make it even more brilliant. Yeah. But you are the one that has to take charge of your life.
That's an amazing story. If you are in the house and you are in this age range, this story is hopeful. I mean, it's an encouragement to you that your time isn't over yet. If Lape Soetan could get married at 34, don't worry, you're good to go. We're going to share Shoaib and jollof rice. So let's go straight to this. I'm pretty sure that as much as you were happy, you also had pressures. There were some things you had to battle with. And I'm pretty sure there are people out there who probably are going through the same thing. So what pressures was mounted on you? What were you thinking? What was going through your mind? And how did you deal with it?
Wow. You go through all sorts of things, particularly when you're a woman. If you're a man or a certain age, people are not as bothered. But when you're a woman and you're single at a particular time, everybody feels the need to get on your case. I mean, you go to family events and people say, "Where's your husband?" And you're trying to think, do I come out with an insult or do I remain the polite person I'm supposed to be? Or you go somewhere, you want to buy something, and they say, you should fill a form. And they're asking you, "Mrs. What should I write?" And I'm like, oh my gosh. You don't have to write Mrs. anything. It's not even relevant to this form that we're filling. I just want to buy a t-shirt. What are you talking about? Or you go somewhere and they say, "Oh, you're so beautiful. Why aren't you married? I'll pray for you."
Wow.
I'm like, okay, I didn't know I had a problem, but you meet all sorts. And like I said earlier, some people don't mean to be nasty. They don't mean to be hurtful, but they are. It happens to everybody. And that's one thing I want to say. If you are single and you feel like you should not be single, and you are going through things, please know that you are not the only one going through it. I meet and speak to women every day who are going through. I've met women who told me that they want to commit suicide simply because they are not married. This is more serious than many people think. I know that there are many people that are disdainful, that people that think, is it because you don't have a husband? What are you looking for? But if you are the one going through it, I met someone, she's the eldest, her younger siblings are married, boys and girls. You can imagine what she's going through. Yeah. She went to a family function and somebody pulled her aside and started crying because she was not married. How is that going to help them? People are going through all sorts. You have to focus on yourself and look for the things that are going to make you happy. You can't look at what other people are saying and doing.
That is very true. That is very true. Okay, so when you met your husband, how were you sure that he was the one and that you were not just going to say yes because you felt time was going and you didn't want to get to age 40 before you got married?
There's a real pressure. I'm glad you said that. There's a real pressure to say yes because you're a certain age and somebody has asked you to marry. When I was younger, it never occurred to me, I don't know why, it never really occurred to me that somebody would ask me to marry them and I would say no. I always thought that people would only ask you when it was clear that both of you felt on the same page. But it's not that way. There are times when, if you're older and somebody asks you to marry them, or indicates that they're thinking about marriage, and then you say no, you immediately feel a little insecure. You're thinking, is this my last chance of marriage? If I say no now, will there anybody else ask me? Am I supposed to say yes? Is this a sign from God? It can be so confusing. One of the ways to remove that confusion is to write down what exactly it is you want in a partner. Now, when I say write it down, you can write down physical things, that's fine. But the most important thing is that the things that are most important to you on that list are what you should look for in a partner. And those things should not be more than 3. You can have a list of 100 things, that's fine. But the 3 most important things are the things that you should ask yourself, this person that I am with, or this person that I'm considering, does he have these things? Can I imagine waking up to him every day for the rest of my life? Can I imagine living with him? Can I imagine being with him if he falls ill? Do I think he will stay with me if he falls ill? How do I think this relationship will be if we don't have any money? You have to think about those kind of things and then now take your decision. So when I met my husband, I didn't know that I was going to marry him because I had known him for years. We worked together. So it was not clear to me that this was the person I was going to marry. No. But then, at a particular point in time, we both became single. And then, it now appeared that this was the natural progression of our friendship. It's like I was saying the other day, like they say in the modern world, we caught feelings, I guess. They say people catch feelings. They're exactly, like it's something there. That's exactly what happened. So no, it's not always clear when you meet somebody, which is why it's a good idea to not immediately throw away everybody. I'm not saying you should keep people hanging on. I don't approve of that. If you know that you don't fancy somebody, please be clear to the person. But if you get along with somebody and the person not asking for more from you, then it's fine to be friends.
Great, amazing. I hope you're learning from this. This is a bank of experience and knowledge that you need to take from. I'm tapping as well. Okay, so what would you say about compromise? Now, for someone who's reaching the age of 30, it's possible that the suitors that are coming your way are not even on your top 3. Like you mentioned now, we have to write list of our top 3. So what if the person who is, let's say, consistent with asking you out doesn't fit into your top 3 list? Do you think that you can actually just compromise and then, work together with the person? Is it healthy at all?
Okay. One of the things that happened when I was single is that I hated the word compromise. Wow. I really did not like it because I thought it meant giving up things and sacrificing things and then your life would just become dull. But I'm older now and I know that compromise is important when you're single and when you're in a marriage. However, the things that you should compromise on are things that you should be careful about. Okay. Let me give you an example. If someone is consistently on your case, but you know for a fact that the person lies a lot, but he has a lot of money. Wow. But he is always lying. As in, if he tells you that it's raining, you actually have to check. That is when you think, okay, I value honesty. I want to be able to rely on somebody. I want to know that I can depend on somebody. This is when you ask yourself, do I compromise and stay with this person despite the fact that the person lies a lot? Or do I just give it up? I know that this person is not for me, no matter how many times they ask me to marry them and no matter how rich they are. So that is where compromise comes in.
Yes.
Don't compromise on your values. Don't compromise on the things that make you happy, but compromise on things that you consider unimportant. Let me give you an example. Somebody comes into your life and let's say you are the kind of person who, like I said earlier, values honesty.
Yes.
And this is somebody who says, I will come and pick you up at 6 o'clock. And he is there by 5:55.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the person is 4 inches shorter than you. Okay. So, are you going to compromise? I mean, you are imagining yourself at that Owambe and you are in your heels and this person is now apparently 6 inches shorter than you now because you are wearing heels.
Yes.
What are you going to do? This is when you also have to sit down and think, what are the things that are important to me? And then take your decision.
Amazing. That's about placing value on the inside than the outside.
Yes, because that is what is going to stay longer in this relationship.
Yes.
I mean, for example, it happens to people. I mean, we don't want to think about bad things, but you marry somebody that is 6'2", but the person is an accident and is in a wheelchair. What happens?
Oh, wow.
That changes
everything.
It changes everything.
Changes
Not just his height.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
So you do have to be you have to be realistic and you have to be honest with yourself about things that are important.
That's true. I also realized that one of the reasons why mature singles, even young singles, don't venture into relationship as much is because they probably had a bad experience in the past. Let's say for someone who grew up in a home where the father has 2 wives and she didn't experience love or he didn't experience love, it's very hard for some persons like that to just trust anybody. So I guess their root causes insecurities and trust issues. What do you say to such persons? Because they have to get married, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't.
I know that, the first step is always admitting or addressing the fact that you have this particular issue as opposed to just ignoring it and going on with your life. So if there are issues, for example, you find it difficult to trust because you come from a home where you always have to be on your guard because you don't know where the next missile is going to come from. It's difficult to now be vulnerable to somebody else and let the person see inside of you, and then the person could use that against you.
Yeah.
It is very difficult. But what I always say is life is a risk. There is nothing in this world, nothing that is guaranteed. I mean, with the things going on in the world today, we can now see that it's almost like even your health is not guaranteed. Even the air we breathe is not guaranteed. We now start thinking, the things I've taken for granted, will I really always have it? So nothing is guaranteed. You have to take a risk. You just have to say, this person I am looking at, is this person worth the risk? Do I think that this person is going to be there for me? Has this person shown that they are reliable? Has this person shown that in 5 years' time, this is the same sort of value I will see in them? You have to ask yourself, but look, in love, you always have to take the risk.
Yes,
you have to.
True. That's true. I have a question. There's a story I read of a young woman because she's already in her 30s. Yeah. It seems, well, according to her story, nobody's approaching her. Do you think it's true? Do you think there's nobody to actually approach anybody? Or you think she's just being selective? And if there are people like that, what would you actually say to them?
I think someone told me about her sister, and her sister was saying that she didn't have any toasters. And, I don't know if that's an old term. Okay, she didn't have anybody approaching her. So, I think there are many ways of looking at it. Sometimes it's actually true that nobody's approaching somebody, but sometimes what the person is saying that is nobody I think should be approaching me is approaching me. Because the person is being approached every week, but they're like, please, look at that one's shoe. Look at that one's. So, some people are that way. Yeah. If it is actually true that nobody is approaching you, if you really feel that way, you can actually do something about it. There's nothing in this world that cannot be changed. You have to think about it and decide, okay, why do I think that this is happening to me? Why is nobody approaching me? You have to be honest with yourself. Sometimes people don't like hearing this. But it might be as simple as you have a resting bitch face, which means you always have a nasty look on your face.
Okay.
If you always have a look that says, please don't even bother to talk to me, I'm not interested. It's going to be difficult for people to come and talk to
That's
you.
true.
There are some men, to be honest, who seem to go for women who have a nasty look on their face.
Yes, yes.
There's some, I think they find it a challenge.
Yes,
There's some,
yes, they do that. They do that a
There's
lot.
some men like that.
Yes.
But if you are finding that people are not approaching you, think about it. You can even ask your friends, do I always have this particular look on my face? What do you think is the reason why this is happening to me? Another thing is, if people are not approaching you, look, start approaching people.
Wow.
There is nothing stopping you.
Wow.
And I don't mean you go up to somebody and say, okay, do you want to go with me to my church on Sunday? It doesn't have to be as radical as that. It just means showing an interest in somebody. When you meet the person, say, oh, how many siblings do you have? Oh, your sister went to UI. Oh, wow. Do you know my grandmother lives in Ibadan?
Wow.
Oh, did you go to Ibadan too? Oh, really? What do you like most about it? This is as simple as that. There's no need to be dramatic and start looking for how you can get the person to come and pick you up on Saturday night. There's no reason for that.
Yeah.
If people are not showing an interest in you, show an interest in people and to move from there.
True. I'm going to ask a question, but before I go to that question, I'm just going to ask something that's relating to this. So what do we say to women who at this age are feeling very unloved? They feel like they're not desirable to people, they're not beautiful anymore. They feel that the reason why men are not approaching them is because they probably lost their beauty. Their beauty was in the 20s and then it just went away when they were 30 or something. What do we say to them? How do we encourage them?
Well, what I would say first of all is there's no point in competing with somebody who is 20 if you are 40. Even an ugly 20-year-old is going to be more attractive than the most beautiful 40-year-old. There is something attractive about youth that nothing can take it away.
Sure.
So there's no point in competing. But know this, no matter who you are and what you look like, you are attractive to somebody. It is basic. What needs to be done is work on your mind. If you look in the mirror and you like what you see, you can be sure that there's somebody that likes what they see as well. But if you look in the mirror and you don't like it, it's going to be difficult for other people to like it too.
Yes, true.
You know, I meet people who say, look, I've reached 35. All this makeup, there's no need. And as for high heel, my knees even beginning to pain me, so there's no need for all that.
Yeah.
But if you are not happy that way, there is no need. You have to do the things that make you happy. If wearing lip gloss is going to brighten your day, please do it. You're not doing it because you want to be a 22-year-old. Nobody's going to mistake you for a 22-year-old. Forget it. You are doing it because it makes you happy. And that happiness is what is going to attract people to you. It is always ultimately what attracts people to you.
Yes, that's very true. Now, to my question, what is your take on chastity when you're reaching a very ripe age and then, you know, as a woman and all that, almost even as a man? I mean, I think men actually go through that. Or what is your take on that? What would you say?
That is a tough question, as I'm sure you knew. That is a tough question. Look, chastity is related to your religious beliefs.
Okay.
Whatever you think is right is what you should follow.
Okay.
Whatever makes you unhappy. And the thing is that when you go back on your beliefs, there's a tendency to feel unhappy. Okay. And it then also affects your relationship. Let me give you an example. If you don't believe in sex before marriage, but you start having sex with somebody, you will always feel bad. Every single time you will feel bad. If the person breaks up with you, you're going to feel even worse. Yeah. So what I would advise is think about how you would feel afterwards. You go to the end. If you have sex with this person, how am I going to feel? Yeah. Am I okay with that feeling? Can I deal with it? And then move on.
Okay. Thank you very much for your very honest answer. Okay, so I'm going to go into a little more personal questions. Questions that are quite relatable. So there's this thing I saw on the internet. Yeah. This guy put it out there. I'm going to read it the exact way that he put it on the internet. He says, I met this girl at the bar. She has a great sense of humor and quite intelligent. I must confess she's nothing like the clean girls I've met and dated. While I go to the bar to take a few drinks with my guys, she smokes, which is a turner for me, and is very indecent in her dressing. Do you think dating her would make her change to my taste?
My short answer to that is no. Because the truth is that people don't really change. We don't change who we are. I mean, when we first meet somebody and we really, really like them, we do our best to be the best person for them. We try to be who we think they want us to be. It is natural. We only want, it's like when we're little and we want to please our parents. Yeah. We always want to try to please somebody that we love. But the truth is that we cannot maintain something that is not natural to us. So this sort of person that he has met, while she might change, the truth is that if that is who she really is, she's only changing temporarily. After a certain amount of time, she's going to go back to who she really is and who she feels comfortable being. And then if he is not comfortable with that, they are not going to start fighting. And then there's going to be very serious problems in that relationship. It's going to be difficult to have a happy ending with that kind of thing.
Great. Thank you very much. That is actually a very amazing answer. I agree with that, because I feel like we can't keep up, like you said. You can't be consistent at being someone who you're not because difficult. You love someone. It's actually very difficult to keep a facade for a long time. Okay, I'm going to ask this question. What should you do to attract your type of person? What do you think you should do?
The very first thing is to write it down. I always go back to that. First of all, write it down so that it becomes clear in your mind. Because sometimes people say, oh, I want somebody, I haven't met anybody. And then when you ask them who it is that they want, they can't really describe the person. And when that happens, you know that is part of the issue. If someone asks you who it is that you want to be, you should be able to describe the person. So if you describe the person, then you have to use a little imagination. This kind of person that I want, where am I likely to meet them? Who is the kind of person that they are more likely to be attracted to? Who do I have to be to attract this kind of person? And so those are the things that you think about. If you think that you want to, let me give you an example. Someone once told me that they wish they could marry a celebrity, and there's nothing wrong with that anyway. I mean, obviously, who we see on TV and everything, it's not necessarily who the person actually is. Many people think that the two are often very different. They're very different personalities. But let's even say you want to marry a celebrity. But this person was working in a bank. It is not that she can never meet and marry a celebrity working in a bank. But if you want to increase your chances of meeting and marrying a celebrity, it's better for you to work in the entertainment industry. How about getting a job as an admin person celebrities need accountants too, or bankers. How about looking for work in the entertainment? That is one thing that will immediately bring you. How about being an event planner? That's one thing that will immediately increase your chances of meeting that kind of person. So think about the kind of person you want. Think about their life and see how you can put yourself in that life. You increase your chances that way.
Great. Thank you very much. What would you subscribe to as the am I supposed to put that now? The time for courtship. How long do you think it should actually last when it comes to courting someone?
Wow.
How long does it take to actually know someone? Do you think it actually takes to know the person you want to marry?
It's very strange. Nobody's ever asked me that before. And that's very I'm surprised nobody's ever asked me that before. The answer is there's no particular answer. I personally feel comfortable with maybe a year or 2 years, because I think you give the person a chance to mess up a lot, and then it gives you a chance to show yourself as well. If you get married to somebody 6 weeks after meeting them or 6 months after meeting them, you might not truly know the person. Having said that, there are exceptions to every rule. I've heard of people who meet and marry within 6 months and they're still together today. And there are people that date for 10 years and then they break up. They don't even bother to get married. But I always think that it's best to date for a while, so that you would have had your first fight. You would have annoyed each other very well. And then so you know how the other person reacts when they're angry. You know how the other person reacts when they're broke. You know how the other person reacts when somebody dies in their family. And then you can now ask yourself, can I deal with this person in this situation? And the other person has a chance to do the same with you as well.
That's true. There is no definite answer. I mean, it just depends on who. We're different people anyway. Thank you very much for that. Okay. This question. So, when I found the one, because I'm going to find the one, how do we take it from dating to marriage?
The thing to remember here is that it's a cliche, but you can take a horse to the river, but you can't force it to drink.
Yeah.
So you can be in a relationship with somebody for 4 years, and you can drop all the hints in this world, and the person might not marry you, might not want to marry you, and then in the end might break up with you. You can't actually force the situation to happen. But what I do advise is you have to say it, you have to make it clear. Otherwise, you'll just be drifting. Because look, it's better for you to date somebody for 2 years and then the relationship ends than date somebody for 6 years and you're still saying, oh my God, when is he going to ask me? I just want, you have to open your mouth and talk. Even if you pray first, before you do it and think, oh my God, this is such a big risk.
Yeah.
Take your time. Don't do this like 3 weeks after meeting the person or 6 weeks after look, give the person time. But if you've been dating for a while and you think that you are at the stage where you guys should be thinking about marriage, then you have to say it. You have to say, I want to get married someday.
Yeah.
Do you think that you want to get married to me? Do you see yourself being married to me? It is very important. Another reason I want to say that is that happened to me.
Wow.
I was in a relationship with somebody, and I don't know, I wasn't thinking too much about things. I mean, I liked the person, but then one day the person said, oh, can you imagine us being married the following year? And then I was scared. And that was the sign to me that I was with the wrong person. I mean, this was a perfectly nice person. This was somebody I dated for a while. The person was great. But if someone asks that kind of question and your first reaction is fear, I don't think that you're not sure about it, and you might not be dating the right person.
Wow, thank you. Our time is almost gone, but I'm going to ask this question. So, in this 21st century, we have working women, career women, but there is this popular saying, I feel like it's a myth anyway, that if you have a blooming career and you're working and you're making so much money, it's very hard for you to actually find a life partner. What is your take on that? They feel like, the men will be intimidated. Like that when it comes to the woman, but when the man is making money, there is no problem.
Yeah. I think that there might be more of a difficulty in you getting married, but not necessarily because men are intimidated. Some men will be intimidated, but those men are not for you. But for what I think one of the main reasons it might be more difficult for you to get married is you simply are not dedicating the time to your romantic life that you should. Because if you are a high-flying career person, you're going to have very little time outside of your work. I know people who get home by 9 p.m. They're single. They get home by 9 p.m. every day. They work some Saturdays. On Sunday, they go to church, and then they come back home and work on their laptop. It's very difficult for you to meet anybody that way. So you do have, this is now time where you need to compromise and think, okay, this is what I want. How do I achieve it? The way I am living now is not leading to what I want. What can I change in my life to take me where it is that I want?
Like putting priorities, changing your scale of preference.
Exactly. It's just like a scale of preference. But many people don't want to change anything, but still want something. And it is difficult. You have to change something. You can't keep doing the same thing and hoping that something else will happen. You have to change something.
That is true. Before I ask Lape Soetan to give us a few words, I hope you have learned a lot. I hope you've learned that you need to write down the things that you want to see in a man or a woman, and even the things that you have in yourself that can complement the kind of person that you want to meet. If you want to learn more about Lape Soetan, she has a website, www.lapesoetan.com, and she has a YouTube page as well where you can get all of the juicy advices that you want. She's open to talk to you. She's open to receive questions, and get better in your relationship. Okay, so that being said, I want to just give a few words to the young singles and to the matured singles as well. Since you were in both phases actually.
Yeah.
Just give a few words of advice, encouragement, and hope for them who are home.
My ultimate advice is to live the life that you want. Imagine that this dream of marriage might never happen. This is just one exercise you should do. I mean, don't focus on it every single day, but this is one exercise. If this dream of marriage never happens, how would you live your life? would you leave it the way you are right now forever until you're 80? If you're not happy that way, then do something that makes you happy. Think about it. How can you make your life richer? Are you going to start a business? Are you going to volunteer somewhere? Are you going to start taking singing lessons? Are you going to adopt a child? Are you going to find a way to travel? Look for a way to enrich your life and make it the kind of life that you want. Because the thing is that when you start living the life that you want, that's when you find that more people are now attracted to you. And then you'll be like, where were all of you since when I was at home and lonely? Why is it now that I'm living this happy life that you now want to come to mind? It always happens like that. When you start living the life that you want, the life that you wish somebody would give you, when you start trying, you don't even have to get there. When you start trying to live that life, that is when the right person for you will come into your life. So don't give up on yourself.
Great. Okay, so a word for those who are battling with insecurity and trust issues, just something. I know you said it in the interview, but just so that they can hear it again, more profound, so that they can stick and they'll be encouraged.
Life is a risk. If you are battling with insecurity, first of all, you have to work on your mind and get yourself to the point where you are confident with who you are and know that you deserve more, you deserve happiness. But know that ultimately life is a risk. You learn from your lessons also. That is so important. Because the thing is that we tend to date the same sort of people over and over again. So if you look back, you have to carry out a lot of self-analysis and self-reflection. If you look back at your history and you say, this keeps happening to me over and over again, why does it keep happening? What is wrong? Then take a step to change that. And then you will find out that you are getting a different result. So if you always date people that cheat on you, ask yourself, why is this happening? It's not because they wrote on your head, please cheat on me. It's not because you are too fine or because you are too ugly. That's not why. It is because you are choosing certain people. So look at that and see, how can I choose someone that is different and that will give me a result that makes me happy?
Amazing. It's been an amazing evening with Lape Soetan. I have learned so much. She's a bank of wisdom. And to be honest, she looks really great for 34. But it's amazing. And, I hope that you learned a lot. I hope that you have taken note. And I hope actually that you start to take actions. You don't just listen and write them down. I hope that you start to do something about it. We look forward to receiving feedbacks from you. Please, you can engage and put a comment if you got a word that really got to you, a word that really encouraged you and gave you hope. Thank you very much again, Lape.
Thank you,
It's
Mara.
really a pleasure to hear you and a pleasure to hear your story. It's really inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you.